This past Mother's Day, I bicycled down from North Smithfield to Swan Point Cemetery on Blackstone Boulevard to pay respects to a family member. This route takes you by Taft Street and under the Pawtucket River Bridge. On my return trip, and on the spur of the moment, I decided to film what I saw with my iPhone. I imagined that I was talking to my childhood friends, for this was our play yard and where we lived. What we are looking at this point is Taft Street to our right. 70 years ago, we would be at the entrance to Newell Coal and Lumber, and beyond that, a power plant generating electricity for the Blackstone Valley. We would be standing on coal cinders, definitely not grass. To our left is the Division Street Bridge, which is blocking the view of Route 95 behind it. Somewhere in the right foreground is the mulberry bush that we used to climb as kids and pick the sweet, delicious fruit from that tree every summer. As we swing to the right and look down the river, we focus on the former location of McCoy Coal and Lumber, now a marina. And somewhere in that maze of vegetation is the old Mummy Pond, next to which Sunday crap games would be conducted regularly throughout the summer. Looking in the background, you can see two high-tension power towers at just about the location of the Metropolitan Field, a baseball diamond that would be used by kids of many generations. This next bit of film we capture what would be an ordinary afternoon of fishing, and the anglers are returning to a boat launch where they will bring back their truck and take the boat away. The Water Street Gang would never have imagined such a thing, not when their noses were used to the smell of an abused river containing sewage and clothing dyes. Now the only negative is runoff from dairy farms located in states to the north, giving the water a brownish but clean hue. We pass under a new bridge built over 95 and leave the Division Street Bridge in the background. Swinging left, we'll look upriver and see the green underpinnings of the Main Street Bridge. My memory is deficient at this point because I don't remember what was at this location, maybe an old mill. But I do remember the area directly ahead. Snow that accumulated on city streets during the winter was put into trucks and dumped here into the river. Looking high to the right, we can see the tower of the Apex department store plunked right on top of the neighborhood we called home. Water, School, River, and Elm Streets are underneath that building. I like to think that my home, my bedroom, was underneath women's lingerie. Well, we're looking at what used to be Ferry's bicycle stop, and over to the right, Wing Lane, where Henry Brown lived. Here we're looking down Main Street. Imagine that, how empty it is. Straight down Main Street to the bridge. Here we're looking at the Pawtucket Congregational Church, and in front of that where the Boyle's gas station used to be. Here we're seeing the empty spot of the Episcopal Church and then later the Greek church that had burned down. A view going down School Street, deserted. Here we have Vernon Street. Jack Smith lived on the right-hand side of that street and was where we used to ski down, not ski, sled. We didn't know what skiing was all about. Here we're looking at the junction of School and Prospect Street and where the fire station used to be located. This is Water Street, and the construction and debris is caused by the new 95 bridge. The cycling route takes us through the city of Pawtucket, but we will come back to that later. We bike by the Wyatt Correctional Center in Central Falls. Imagine a prison right in the center of the city. Across from the Wyatt Center is Maycomber Field, a baseball diamond which was legitimate. No stones, rocks, or dirt infield, but green grass. Imagine that. Through Central Falls, into Valley Falls, and then over beautiful wooden bridges through the marsh grass, WPAW's radio tower would be visible if we look way up to the left. These bridges were constructed to carry a fire engine, if necessary, to reach any fires that might break out in the marshland next to the bike path. Look over to our left, the Lonsdale Drive-In. The bikeway takes us through fields that were formerly the parking lot of the drive-in. It would flood over every spring like clockwork, but since the asphalt has been removed, no more flooding. I made a comment about it was no big deal to bike from Woonsocket to Providence. It really isn't. Nice bike path all the way, protected, and good off-road bikeways. We backtrack at this point and continue our tour before it was interrupted by looking at Main Street, Pawtucket. If city planners wished to destroy the center and heart of the city, they could not have done a better job. It is a Sunday afternoon, but two cyclists on Main Street? Looking over to the left, we see the Peerless building that was relocated from Upper Main Street. And straight ahead, my bicycle in the forefront, we see the old Slater Mill. Looking up Main Street, we see on the right where Searles Jewelers and Najarians were formerly located, and to the left, a building that was put in place by the Pawtucket Institution for Savings is now a school administration building. That whole complex formerly housed the Boston store, the peanut store, a record store, and Anne Marie's corset shop. Looking up the beginning of Main Street, or not, that's Broad Street, I'm sorry. It was the location of the New York Lace store, and to the right of that, North Union, which had Bernstein's. Looking directly ahead, we see the parking garage that was formerly the location of Schottenberg's. And here I look up and I see the sign for the China Inn. That used to be Brennan's. I like Chinese food, but please, don't destroy the past. Here, we're looking down Main Street, is a building that still has pretty much the same shape, but it located the former Gibson's. And we spent many an afternoon sipping Coke there and then walking across the street to Schottenberg's to hang out. Now I've got to end this video because someone across the street